Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of multiplying polynomials. This is standard A.10B in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 10 of the 2022 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on our own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we are multiplying polynomials here, right? Poly means many. And when we are thinking of a polynomial, these are typically going to be expressions that have many different combinations of, we've got constants, we've got variables, and then sometimes we have exponents, though we don't necessarily deal with exponents in this particular problem. So these are a subset of polynomials. These are called binomials. And it's just because that prefix bi means two. So we've got two terms in each of these expressions. You got a variable and a constant. So how do we multiply these? Well, I'm going to show you a few different methods here, but everything comes back to this distributive property. So that's the basis of everything we do. So if we take the basic definition of the distributive property, if you have A and then multiply that by B plus C, that's the same thing as distributing that out to AB plus AC. So we can kind of view this in the same way, right? So we can say, all right, I'm going to take my first part here. If we pretend like that's the A, that's the B and the C, right? I'm going to take my N, but even that A term has got two different terms. So watch how this works. I'm going to take my N, then I'm going to distribute that out to the 2n plus 7. Then I'm going to take my minus 4 and do the same thing, 2n plus 7. But even then, now I've got to distribute that out again, right, because there's two terms there. So n and the 2n plus n and the 7. And I can do the same thing with this 4. Minus 4, 2n minus 4, 7. Now I can do some multiplication. So this is going to be 2n squared plus 7n minus 8n minus 28. We're combining like terms. The only two like terms are this plus 7n minus 8n. So I've got 2n squared minus n minus 28. We see that answer down there at the very bottom, J. So we're looking good. Most of us didn't start with that distributive property. Most of us, when we're thinking of this, we're like, oh, this is when we use FOIL. And if you think of FOIL, that's fine. FOIL is just a shortcut of the distributive property. So the foundation of what we're doing with the FOIL is the distributive property. So first, right, so we're going to take our two binomials here. So let's take our n minus 4, 2n plus 7. Take our first term, so that's going to be n and 2n. And then we're going to take our outer terms, that's going to be the n and the 7. Right? And then we're going to take our inner terms, so that's going to be our 4 minus 4 and 2n. Then our last minus 7 and 4. Okay. Or minus 4 and 7 ends up being the same thing. So we multiply this, we got 2n squared plus 7n minus 8n minus 28. Look familiar? We've just been there. So 2n squared minus n minus 28. Same thing. Now there's another way to do this. This box method is helpful because sometimes you don't get two binomials. You might get a binomial and a trinomial, like one of these might be a squared. So the box method says, let's take each of these expressions. We're going to kind of separate them out. So I've got an n. That's a positive n. I've got a minus 4. And I've got a positive 2n, and I got a positive 7. What we do is we just kind of create this little grid here, separating these, and we end up just multiplying each of the columns by each of the rows. So I've got a positive n, positive 2n, right? That's going to be a positive 2n squared. And I've got 2n minus 4, that's minus 8n. I've got a 7 times n, 7n. And 7 and negative 4, negative 28 combined like terms, you still get the same thing. But that's another good way to do it. My answer is J.